Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball and Carlos Baseball. As always, WillPower's with me, and we have a lot of baseball to talk about. We have Charlie Morton signing a contract, Robinson Cano getting suspended, and Arozarena, whatever happened to him. But first, let's talk about Theo Epstein getting away from the Cubs. We were talking about it before we got on the show, and Theo Epstein has a great career, right, Will?
Yeah, man, it's so crazy that Theo Epstein has decided to take a complete year off. He's not even listening to offers from any other teams right now. This is one of the best general managers in the history of baseball. He signs with Boston back in 2002, and within 2 years, he helps them win a championship after an 86-year drought. And then he resigns as their general manager in 2011, gets hired by the Cubs that same year, and then 5 years later he wins another championship with the Cubs after a 108-year drought.
Yeah,
this guy's amazing. You know, as Dodger fans, we love Andrew Friedman coming over from the Rays, and Dodgers hiring him. Same thing with Farhan Zaidi, who also kind of like built the Dodgers to what they are today.
Yeah,
but I feel like this guy, like Theo Epstein, he and Andrew Friedman, Friedman, like you said, he got the executive of the year this season.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is like the equivalent of Andrew Friedman, and Andrew Friedman's done it once. Well, actually kind of twice, because he also built the Rays to what they are
now,
they were this past season.
Yeah. And
then he also helped build the Dodgers to what they were the past 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So Epstein and Friedman, man, I can't believe he's taking a year off. That's huge. But
yeah, you just said before we got on the show, you were saying that he's one of the youngest actually to start being a general manager. And
he got hired when he was 28 years old. So youngest general manager in history, and by the Red Sox of all teams. You know,
they decided to go young and just be like, you know what, let's just go ahead and throw out the book and let's start fresh and let's get this kid in here and see what he does.
And then talking about general managers, now you also have the first woman general manager in MLB history, who just got signed by the Marlins.
Yeah.
And, she's no rookie to the game. She's been around since the early 2000s. And honestly, man, I was reading her resume. She really deserves it. She was with the Dodgers for a little bit. She was in the front office with the Dodgers. She's kind of bounced around from different teams. She was with the Yankees and now with the Marlins. And she already has a relationship with Derek Jeter. Jeter was on the Yankees pretty much his whole career, and he worked with her face to face, and they worked together for so long. So he actually knew her on a personal basis, and he made the jump, man. He's the first one to actually hire a woman as a general manager. Was it last season or the season before? We saw the first female coach in Major League Baseball, and now we have the first general manager, female general manager in Major League Baseball. So things are changing, man.
They are.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why Epstein decided to step away for a year. He sees like there's a lot of things kind of like wheels turning and things changing. So he wanted to just kind of take a step back, maybe spend some time with his family. And he's getting a lot of offers right now from
I'm pretty sure, dude. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but he said he's not even listening to offers right now. Like, he already knows every team is going to be interested in him, So
I'm pretty sure it's stressful working for. Come on, as a 28-year-old going into Boston, you know about the 86-year championship drought that they had, right? And then you win it, and bam, like you're a top general manager, and then you step off and you go into another team that hasn't won it in 108 years, and boom, you win it, and it's stressful. I'm pretty sure this guy was living, so many stressful nights, days, and even off days. He didn't have any breaks.
He didn't have any off days.
Exactly. So all that time from that point that he became that general manager, that first year till now, he hasn't rested. So if he needs it, go ahead and do it. And you just mentioned before we got on the show that he's a San Diego native. He might be taking off this whole year. Might be a Padre. I don't know.
I don't know where he lives now. But if he did stay in his hometown and decide to live in San Diego, maybe he wants to go back to his, the team that he rooted for as a kid.
Yeah.
And that's bad news for Dodger fans, because he's a great general manager. He's going to help that team a lot. If he's going to help any team, whoever he decides to sign with, or even if he does come back, we don't even know if he's deciding to retire. I mean, he's been doing this since 2002, so 18 years at 28 years old. So he's 46 now.
Damn, I'm not good at math. Something like that. Yeah. It's 46, which is not old at all, man. You still have a lot of time. You're still young. You're still one of the young ones.
So much in his long career.
Yeah, you're still one of the young ones. If he decides to come back, what if he doesn't decide to come back and just do something else, become a general manager for another sport, or you never know. Maybe that's why he's taking off, or he just got tired of baseball. He wants to do or move on to something else, and that's not baseball. We wish him the best of luck. Hopefully, when he does come back, it might be the Padres, and if it's the Padres, game on. We have the best executive in the Dodgers, and then you have this guy coming back, and hopefully it's with the Padres, and they can do a lot more damage than what they have.
Yeah, too bad we didn't talk about that with Matty Tice.
Right? It didn't happen that time, but it would have been cool, man. Let's move on to see Charlie Morton. He just signed a 1-year contract with the Braves. What do you think of Charlie Morton?
15 million, dude. 15 million for Charlie Morton.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have his stats pulled up. I don't know what they are offhand, but this guy is like a 2.8 to maybe like a low 3s ERA guy. He's he has more than a strikeout per inning, so he's going to get at least 200 Ks per season through a regular 162 game season. He doesn't really get hurt. Last year he was banged up a little bit, but I think that was the first time that he's actually had like an extended amount of time off. Recently he won a World Series with Houston. He almost won a World Series with the Rays. Yeah. That this guy deserves way more than 15 million a year, and I don't know what the hell other teams are thinking. I know he's a little bit on the older side, but he hasn't shown that he's losing velocity, or he's losing break on his breaking pitches, or anything like that. If I'm a general manager, I'm offering this guy more than $15 million to try to steal him away from other teams.
Yeah,
I would even give him a 2 or 3 year deal. Why not?
I think 2 years would be good for Morton. I thought, to be honest, he was going to sign back with the Rays, because in the World Series they were talking about how he wanted to stay with the Rays, and he wanted to end his career there, but I guess it didn't plan out like that, and the Braves jumped in. The Braves already have a good rotation, and now adding Charlie Morton with that veteran presence there, and then guiding these young kids, oh man, it's going to be lights out for
what's crazy is Charlie Morton, he could be an ace on almost any staff. That's how good he is. But he's number 3 on the Braves. That's how good their starting rotation is. They have Max Fried as their ace.
Yeah.
The rookie that broke out 2 years ago. Yeah. That guy's amazing. And then they had Mike Soroka, who got injured this past season when he stepped off the mound and he tore his Achilles. So he'll be back by the beginning.
Didn't Charlie Morton have an Achilles injury too, I think?
I don't know. I don't remember. He's been in the league a long time. I'm sure he's gone through some stuff,
Yeah. So
I don't remember anything recent other than just a few months ago, right before the World Series. But dude, that's a scary rotation.
It
just those 3 guys. And then in addition to that, they also signed Drew Smyly, who's not, he's nothing like spectacular or anything, but he's a solid number 4 starting pitcher. And then they also have Ian Anderson. Ian Anderson did really good,
yes, he did.
Past season. So
yeah, that's going to be a tough lineup. I mean, a tough pitching staff to get through, especially being in the East, where the Mets are trying to get their team together. They're trying to get a lot of players to go to New York, and then you still have the Nationals there. Strasburg and Scherzer, and then you have a young team in Nationals that are really good. So those 3 teams there alone is just, it's going to be competitive out there in the East Coast. And I'm saying the Mets because the Mets look like they want to spend money and they want to go ahead and get someone. So
new ownership, they want to make a splash. So honestly, my off-season prediction, I think that Trevor Bauer is going to get signed by the Mets.
Wow.
They already have DeGrom, they already have Syndergaard, and what's his name? Marcus Stroman. I think he decided to stay another year with the Mets. So that's 1, 2, 3. Add Trevor Bauer to the mix. That's a sick ass rotation, man.
It is. It's a sick rotation, and they can match the Braves with that rotation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Now they're gonna have to work on their batting, which is
that's the thing. I mean, they do have like the master Pete Alonso, who had the rookie home run record, and some guys kind of sporadic throughout the field that can play pretty decent, but they're definitely going to have to bolster up their lineup because, as you and I both know, the Braves scored the most runs out of any team in the 2020 season. Yeah. So to match that type of lineup, really the only other lineups that I see that can do something like that are the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Yankees. I don't see any other team. Any other lineup really scoring the amount of runs as these 4 teams, and only one of those teams is in the AL, the Yankees. So it's kind of a change of pace because the AL has been so dominant for the past 5 years or so, and then
because they always win the All-Star game. They always win the All-Star game for sure.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. No All-Star game this year, so the National League couldn't shine this year. But I mean, it was obvious that. The American League, it just wasn't up to the standard that the National League was this season. Yeah,
I agree with you on that for sure, because I know usually the AL dominates. It could be the DH too, though. The National League had the DH, so it kind of made you think a little bit different, made you play a little different baseball than they're used to. So
I really hope that DH sticks. I'd love to see that every year.
So with that, since we're talking about the Mets, Robinson Cano got caught again for using steroids, and now he's suspended for 162 games. And we've been mentioning about pitching, but with Robinson Cano out, the Mets are trying to go ahead and get George Springer, and we talked about it in our last show. How important is that for the Mets? Because you said they have home run hitters and they have players that hit doubles and stuff like that, but they're not batting for average. So George Springer will be a good addition to the Mets with Robinson Cano. I mean, Robinson Cano is an older player now. I mean, we don't know if he would have come and actually perform to his full ability because he's getting older and
he's 38 years old, man.
Yeah, injuries could be something where he was like, you know what, I'm gonna take steroids because I'm gonna get injured.
Injuries or just slowing down. Father time catches up to him.
Yeah,
and I'm 37 years old and I'm feeling it right now. Just sometimes like I was running with my kid the other day, dude, and I really it was so crazy. Like my feet weren't moving as fast as like my upper body. And I kind of just like leaned forward a little bit and I tripped over my own feet. Like I didn't realize like how slow I was now. I haven't ran in years.
Oh man, I think your mind is still young and your body's just getting older. That's what
exactly
happens.
What it is.
Yeah, that happens to me sometimes. They're like, oh man, I could do that. And then I realize like, no, I need to stop. My body is not catching up to my brain.
Or like when we go to Sky Zone and we're jumping on the trampolines or something.
Yeah.
I'll take like a little bad hop and then my back will like, crack or something. Like
I need to stop.
I'm done. I need to find you a friend, man.
Yeah. It's time to stop. I can't jump that much.
Yeah.
So Robinson Cano got caught next for the second time, which is 162 games. I believe after this season, he's done, right? That's his contract is up, or
he still has one more year after this season.
Okay, so he probably wants to take one year off so he could go out with a bang, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. He lost $25 million. He forfeited his salary for this season because of that positive drug test. Okay. It's really weird that he would test positive in the off season, though.
Oh man, he's gonna fire on
maybe maybe the news just didn't break until later on. But that was really weird to me. I didn't get that because I've never seen news break out like that during the off season. It's always mid-season or preseason.
That is true. Yeah, it's usually during the season when they catch these guys on steroids because they do random tests. I mean, what happened here? Maybe it did break out during the season, but because of COVID, they decided, you know what, let's hold off and we'll do it at the end of the season. This is already a short.
So they would
season.
just let them finish the season.
I mean, there's been a lot of discussion with a lot of discussions on the Justin Turner COVID testing thing, and they just, I don't know if you've heard, a lot of people have been talking about it on Instagram, and they've been saying that, oh, you know, the Dodgers cheated, and I'm like, it's not cheating. You know, the MLB decided to not disclose his or just say his testing because he was already out in the field, and you mentioned it on our show that if he was already around those people, they would have been already, like, you know, caught the virus. Exactly, he would have been exposed. So it's not cheating, whatever they want to call it. The 2017 Astros were cheating. That's cheating. You know, that's what they were doing. But this is not cheating because they're. How are you going to be cheating for the test results? You know, that's dumb. And if you, if you want to go to Instagram and check it out, you'll be like, "What are they talking about? Are you serious?"
See, I think that the thing that really changed the perception of everybody is that MLB stepped in and they actually took responsibility for saying that they didn't have the proper protocols.
Exactly.
In place. He came back onto the field and no one tried to stop him. You know, he said that he came out there, kind of like looked around and to see if anyone was like, you know, going to stop him. Yeah. And he slowly walked onto the field and no one said anything to him. So,
yeah, I mean, that's what happened. And like, you got, we already had our show on that, right? But there was a lot of things that we didn't say. And I want to say them right now, actually. Like Justin Turner, he just won the World Series and it's the first World Series he ever wins. I don't know if the first one's like the second one, the second one's like the third one, you know, and so on and so on. But when you win something for your very first time and you are told not to do something, don't you want to do it? Don't you feel like, I need to go ahead and do it? Yeah, maybe it was the wrong decision. And you said it, Will. You said, like, maybe after he went out there, he realized, like, man, I should have not done that. I'm exposing people with the virus, right? But at the time and the point of winning the World Series, you don't get those every year. You don't win the World Series every year. How many years have they been trying to get that trophy? So to try to say that Justin Turner violated the protocols, he didn't violate it. The MLB didn't enforce them as much as they should have. They should enforce them. They should have go ahead and said his test came inconclusive. Then you know what? We need to wait until we have the results clearly saying he's not positive or he is positive. You can't play, you can't go on the field, you can't even be in the dugout. And that would have been a little different, right? But they didn't do it.
Also, the problem is there's been so many times when tests come back inconclusive or it was a false positive.
Exactly.
There was a couple of players, I don't remember what team it was for, maybe the Cardinals, that they tested positive for coronavirus and then they got tested again the next day and then it came back negative.
Oh, I think that was the Reds. That was the Reds because the Cardinals were out for a while.
Yeah, you're right.
The Cardinals were out for a while, remember? And then they had to play doubleheader games. And the Reds, I remember it was on Sunday that the Reds tested. And then on Monday, they were like, they tested again. And then some of them came back negative. So they were kind of like, what's going on? And then they went ahead and played on Tuesday. Yeah. So it was super quick what happened there. And they didn't disclose every information that the player, you know, every player that got tested that came out positive. They didn't go ahead and release those names. They never did. They just went ahead and played again. So, you know, well, that's that. Robinson Cano is out for 162 games. The Mets are trying to go get Springer, and hopefully the Mets do get Springer. To be honest, I would want to see him out there. I would want to see the East Coast have that 3-team rivalry out there because it will be exciting. Maybe even 4 if the Phillies do something. You know, I don't know.
Losing a second baseman, especially a guy like Cano, that you know he's. It's hard to say it with the steroids being an issue right now, but he looked like a legitimate Hall of Famer, you know, and losing a guy like that, it's not going to be easy for that team. And there's one second baseman that's on everyone's radar, and that's DJ LeMahieu. Now, he already said that he wants to stay in New York. He never said he wanted to stay with the Yankees.
Exactly.
So you never know. Hey, maybe Steve Cohen can go ahead and steal him and, you know, bolster up his lineup with another all-star right there.
You could go ahead and do that, and then that'll be surprising to me. He didn't say the Yankees; he said New York. You're right.
Hey, I called it right here.
We'll call it on Real Talk Baseball podcast. So write it down, guys. Take a picture.
A few years ago, right before the Phillies signed Bryce Harper, they said that they were going to spend stupid money. That was the exact phrase, stupid money. And I haven't seen any money spent other than Bryce Harper.
Well, that's the stupid money right there.
Yeah, that was. So it kind of seemed like they were kind of just like just trying to get maybe some publicity, you know. But now with Steve Cohen as the Mets owner, I think that he's the one that's really going to start spending some stupid money.
I think so. I think so.
With those three free agents that we were talking about, George Springer, DJ LeMahieu, and Trevor Bauer. Imagine if the Mets signed all three of those guys, dude.
And on Instagram, there's a bunch of people posting that question that you just said. Like they're saying that, what if that happens? The Mets are just going to be a big time team. They are. I just see it because they already have a pitching staff, and then you add Bauer on there, and then you get two guys that can hit for average. Man, you're saying the Mets are gonna be a big time team, and hopefully it does happen. Hopefully, I don't know, man. It's kind of like I feel like since I'm in the West Coast, I feel like the East Coast needs to improve a little bit. Their game. Yeah, but it's not because of like lack of play. It's just because I don't see the games as much. I mean, I do see the talent in Washington. I do see the talent in the Braves. I mean, I saw the talent when they played in the playoffs against the Dodgers. They just have a hell of a team, and they're only getting better because they're all young and they're getting experience. And that's how the Dodgers were. They were young. They kept playing. They kept losing World Series, and then they finally got it. And the Braves did it back in the 90s, they won 11 in a row. What is it called? Division titles, and they won one World Series. So the Mets are trying to be getting into that mix with the Nationals and the Braves. So I mean, that would be exciting. And another news for since we were talking about the Rays with Charlie Morton not even signing with them, Arozarena got. What is the story on Arozarena? Actually, you know a little bit more about it than me.
So he was in Mexico. I don't know if he can't be from Mexico, right? I think he's from.
No, he deflected from Cuba to Mexico, and then from Mexico he played in the league there, and then a scout got him, and then took him to the Rays. So
long story short, he had a kid. I believe it's his ex-wife that has custody, or if they have shared custody, I'm not sure. And he went to go and pick up his daughter, and ex-wife did not allow him to. So he kind of took it into his own hands and just grabbed her and tried to take off. And I guess the father of his ex-wife was there also, and he tried to make him stop. And Arozarena, I guess he had an altercation with the father-in-law. Cops were called, and Randy Arozarena was arrested for claims of child abduction. So, the news just kind of broke out. No one really knows exactly what happened yet. I'm sure we're going to get some more details in the coming days. But I don't know, man. I'm a dad, and I went through a divorce. And my son was really young at the time. He was barely like a year and 3 months old or something. And there was a time that I picked him up and I just left. And she tried to make me put him back down. And I'm like, no, he's my son, and I'm gonna take him. And she actually did call the cops, and nothing happened because we didn't have a custody order or anything. So the cops pretty much told her, like, well, he is the dad. He has the rights of a father also. So, if you don't like it, then you're going to have to go to court. But because I don't know the Mexico court system, I don't really know how things are over there. I mean, everyone always says that, things always, that the courts always favor the mother, which most of the time that's true. But, we don't know the whole story. So,
We don't.
as speaking as the dad, I can understand his frustration and his anger in just trying to see his daughter, and maybe his ex-wife and father-in-law just wanted to be, jerks about it and just, not let him see his daughter at all. Or maybe he has a past of aggression and, things have gotten crazy in the past, so they didn't want him to take his daughter because he's, had some craziness in his life. I'm not sure, but as a dad, I can understand his point of wanting to see his daughter and just picking her up and trying to leave. But I don't know, man. It's a little too much craziness. I was really surprised to hear about that after him being, the ALCS hero and a World Series standout. Like we see these guys as just value. We don't see them as persons sometimes. And this just goes to show you, like, everybody, they have things going on in their own life. I have things going on in my life. You have things going on in yours. And, professional athletes, they're people too. So I hope everything works out for the best. Hopefully his daughter was never in danger. But yeah, we'll see in the coming days. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get a better idea of what actually really happened.
Thanks for sharing that, Will. I know that's something, as a parent, you don't ever want to do that, and you never want to show anything in front of your kids. And thanks for sharing your story. I know it's difficult. Arozarena, I'm pretty sure, like, he wanted to go see his daughter, and that altercation just made it look like, you're keeping me away from my daughter, and it could get hard at times, and I'm pretty sure it got heated. So because it got heated, he did something he probably didn't even mean to do. And it's, he didn't, like you said, hopefully the little girl didn't get harmed or anything, which I'm pretty sure she didn't. We'll hear in the upcoming news, hopefully, that nothing happened, and, Arozarena doesn't have to pay anything or doesn't have to go to jail in Mexico. Like you said, the court system out there is a little different than it is here. So, there's that. There's an interesting story since we're talking to Arozarena, and he is Cuban. Yasiel Puig, I told you the story, and I kind of want to tell the story on the podcast. He is Cuban. He fled to Mexico, and he played in the leagues out there. And while he was playing in Mexico, they had they called a scout from the Dodgers to go check him out. In the process of doing that, the scout went out, and he went, I'm gonna go check out Yasiel Puig, and Yasiel Puig was playing, but in the mix of that, guess who was pitching? Julio Urias was pitching that game, and he decided to, like, wow, who is this kid? How come you guys didn't tell me about this kid? And the scout that went out to sign Yasiel Puig ended up signing up Julio Urias that same day, which is so crazy. Yes, it's so crazy. Like, it's just it's crazy how things work, right? He went and see someone, and then he got another player, and the player that he didn't go see is still on the Dodgers now, winning the World Series. It's so crazy. I just thought about that. I read about it today, and I kind of been reading a lot of things on the Dodgers, because there's another kid that they signed at 18 years old from Jalisco. He's really throwing like a lot of gas. He's throwing 93 miles per hour. He's a taco guy. I don't know if you heard about him. Yeah, so he's been signed for the Dodgers since there was no minor league system last year. He didn't get to pitch, but look for this kid. This kid's gonna be upcoming for the Dodgers pretty soon. His name is Octavio Becerra. So he's another lefty throwing hard, just like Gonzalez, Urias, and now Becerra. So yeah, we'll see.
Dodgers have had some real good luck with pitching, man.
Yeah,
they have. They scout and they draft really well. You see all this homegrown talent. Yeah. You see Urias, you see Kershaw, who is regarded as one of the best pitchers in the game.
Exactly.
Walker Buehler, Dustin May, Fernando Valenzuela back in the 80s. Andy Koufax, it's just thinking about all these Dodgers pitchers over the years, over the decades, in the past century. And the Dodgers have just been so good at developing their pitchers and seeing something that other teams didn't see.
Yeah.
You know, it's as a Dodger fan, it's really exciting to see stuff like that. And then now that they're scouting the hitters even better too. You have, you know, 2 rookie of the years, Cody Bellinger and Corey Seager. And then, you know, at third base, Justin Turner, a scout saw him at a Cal State Fullerton alumni game and decided to give him a chance. And then he's one of the best best third baseman in the league. Yeah. And you know, it's just crazy how the scouting and the drafting process just works for certain teams, which is the same thing that we were talking about Theo Epstein earlier. Yeah. You know, that's why it's so important to have a guy like that in your front office. Yeah. Because, you know, guys like Freeman, they're not a dime a dozen, you know, they're more like the diamond in the rough. It's really hard to find that really knowledgeable and just kind of all around like intuitive about you know, scouting and picking the right players. And a lot of times, you know, the first round picks don't always pan out the way that you hope them that they would.
That is true, because there's a lot of first round picks that they don't even make it up all the way to the big leagues.
Yeah, I was just thinking the other day there was a number 1 overall pick who's a decent player, but he's not anywhere near you know, the caliber of some other players out there. I don't remember who it was. I wish I could remember who it was, but I was just thinking like, dang, this guy was a number 1 pick overall.
Then we're gonna have to leave it for you for homework, so you can tell us in the next show. Because I want to know. I agree with you. And the scouting process is just a little. I mean, I would like to get into a scouting, you know, person. Like, what is it that you're looking for? I know there's a movie on it, like Trouble with the Curveball, right? Like, get that Clint Eastwood, he was saying how he didn't see the player. He had to hear it when he swung the bat and he got a good crack at the ball. You know, he heard it, and he was like, man, this is MLB talent. When he heard that pitcher, I don't know if you guys seen the movie, you know, hopefully you have, and if you haven't, then, you know, too bad. You know, he heard the kid's fastball and he was like, yeah, this is a major league pitcher right here. This is, you know, it's not about all the time about seeing, it's about feeling, and it's about hearing certain things. And like, I can, when I'm in the stadium, I can hear when there's a home run, when someone hits it on the barrel, like you can like literally hear it. And then you're one of the first ones to get up. You're one of the first ones to get up, and all the fans are like, what? And like, man, didn't you hear it? That thing is out. And then now that people start seeing it, and everybody gets up. So like, I mean, there's a lot of people like that. I'm one of them that I hear it, and I'm like, that thing's gone. Did you find him?
I found who the player is.
Okay, who is it?
All right, so he has 5 years in the bigs so far, all with the same team. He has a career 249 batting average. Now, this is the number 1 pick overall.
Wait, don't say nothing. Don't say who it is. Actually, you should put it on Instagram and have people guess.
Okay.
Yeah. So go ahead, keep going. What else?
249 batting average. This is career for 5 years. Okay. 321 on base percentage. He strikes out more than 100 times per season. He has more, about double the strikeouts and walks. 50 career home runs in 5 seasons. So that's only about 10 a year. Yeah. So that's not very good for the number 1 overall pick. All right. What is it, National or American League? Can you say? It's National League. National League. Okay. That's all I'm going to ask. And he was in the playoffs this past season. Okay. There you go. There's your hint. Okay. That is down to the 8 teams. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So it's one of these 8 teams. Okay, cool. All right. If you guys know who he is, Will, can you go ahead and post it on Instagram and hopefully we can get the answer. Yeah, I'll post it tomorrow. Sweet. Sounds good. I'll go ahead and post this video as soon as possible too. Man, we're recording now. This is fine. If there's any questions or anything, go ahead and comment on this video, or go ahead and go on to Instagram on Real Talk Baseball, and then on TikTok we have
TikTok as well, which is Real Talk Baseball. And then on Twitter, what is it? Real Talk or Talk?
R Talk Baseball.
R Talk Baseball.
R Talk Baseball.
Okay, that one. So if you guys want to go ahead and Twitter, we have a Twitter, and then of course YouTube, and we're still working on that Facebook one, or
yeah, I'm gonna try to get that started tonight or tomorrow morning.
Okay, sounds
Hopefully
good.
they don't block me.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think they'll give you another chance because you have to get 3 strikes. So if it's just one strike, then we'll be all right.
So they follow baseball rules?
I think so. You're out, man. All right, cool. Anything else to add, Will, before we sign out?
I don't think so, man. Actually, yeah. For all you fantasy baseball fans out there, we're gonna start talking fantasy baseball pretty soon. So come back and check it out. First episode, I believe we're gonna talk about our top 10 drafting numbers 1 through 10. So I think it'll be me and Carlos and maybe one other guy kind of talking about it. So if you're into fantasy baseball, if you want some tips, some tricks, I have 3 championships under my belt. I'm always, going number 1 or number 2 pretty much every season, other than my first year ever playing. So, got some pretty good knowledge. So,
nice.
You guys check in.
Yeah. So then I'm going to go ahead and drill you guys. I'm just playing. I'll go ask you guys some questions, and hopefully the guy that we want to bring on the show, he agrees to it, and he actually brings his experience. So our first show on fantasy baseball, I'll just go ahead and give you guys a preview. What we want to do is how you guys make selections and how you guys actually make your picks, and then during the season, how is it that you drop players that are not performing for you and look for those players that are actually going to help you get into the playoffs and get into that championship mode. So we'll go ahead and talk that in the next show for the fantasy baseball, which sounds really exciting to me, which is going to be really cool because I know you love talking about fantasy baseball. And if we go ahead and bring the other guy in, I know you guys are going to go at it, and that's going to be cool. So I'm CarloBaseball. This is WillPower. This is Real Talk Baseball. Signing out.
See you guys.